like a Hellcat.
Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I am ObscureAngelPT, and today we are taking a look at the eye settings of Arma 3 Apex. Arma 3 Apex was developed by Bohem Interactive, and it uses their own engine called Infusion. So, look at the frame rate. 24 FPS, right? On the eye settings. So let's try to drop the game to the low settings and see what happens. I know what happens, but I want to show you. Okay? So it's loading. And there you go. 25 FPS, 26. So basically, yeah, we dropped the game from the high settings to the low settings, and we earned like 2 FPS. Let's put it back to the high settings because at least I have graphics in here. So what's the problem here? So to start on, the problem is MSI Afterburner, because MSI Afterburner recording takes like 5 FPS, but in this game takes a lot more than 5 FPS, okay? So if you want to check the results without recording, you can click on the red rectangle saying frame rate, or you can check the details for the minimum, average and max, and you have there too a link saying frame rate proof download. But that's not just it that is happening, because without recording the performance is very super. And if you look to the first line, you can see there is a thing there saying 63%. That is the GPU usage. So it was supposed to be on the max. Okay, the GPU usage needs to be on the max unless you have a frame cap in place or a VSync. So what is happening is that the graphic card is getting bottlenecked. But from where? CPU? RAM speeds? No. Yeah, CPU maybe a little. But the main concern here is that if you look at this beautiful environment, you can see there is a lot of trees, a lot of grass, a lot of things. This is called draw calls. And you know, NVIDIA under DirectX 11 can shit out a lot of draw calls, but AMD don't, because this architecture from AMD, this GCN architecture that is out for 4 years right now, was made to get used by low-level APIs like DirectX 12, like Vulkan, or like the APIs from the consoles, because it was made for parallelism and not serial processing. DirectX 11 and OpenGL does serial processing, and you can saw that the Doom under Vulkan, the performance on AMD hardware completely topped up a lot. And many DirectX 12 games, the AMD takes very big advantage from using those APIs. But that means that AMD under DirectX 11 is bad in all games? No, mostly it stands the same way as the NVIDIA. But in games like this, where there is a lot of draw calls, a lot of grass, a lot of trees, a lot of stuff, it tends to get bottlenecked. That's what happens. And the only solution for us right now is either trade to NVIDIA or get a better CPU. But if you don't want to change money right now, and you can wait, if you can wait to it, Bohem Interactive is developing DirectX 12 patch for the game, so they are porting the game to DirectX 12. And many people were expecting for this Apex version to bring DirectX 12, but it's not here yet, okay? Because they claimed on a blog post on April, I guess, that they were having difficulties, and it's much harder than they were expecting, because it's harder. And with that, the Apex version was not received the DirectX 12, but they were still continue to work on it. But well, let's pray for it to get released for help us users with AMD hardware or NVIDIA users with weak CPUs. Okay, so DirectX 12 can be a very big game changing for us or for people with NVIDIA with lower end CPUs, okay, because of this bottleneck stuff. Because let's face it, this game have a lot of distance and a lot of objects, and that's normal. That's a normal thing to this to happen. Oh my god, somebody is calling me. I don't care. And with that, yeah, you can say that it's AMD's fault for that. It's honest thing to say, but you know, Bohem Interactive is not entirely innocent, because it makes use of GameWorks. So GameWorks is not a bad thing. Many effects are there just for you to choose and can be disabled. So for that it's okay. It makes use of their own screen space ambient occlusion, and they make use of PhysX3 for the CPU calculations. So PhysX3 is innocent in my opinion, because there are many games that makes use of PhysX3 for the basic physics, like for example rigid physics, body physics, and it's processed by the CPU always, which means that if you have an NVIDIA graphic card, and many games that are using this PhysX3, doesn't entirely means that you are getting your GPU used up for physics, because it's not. For example, BioShock Infinite, I guess it uses PhysX3 and it's only processed on the CPU. Many games are in this situation. There are very rare games which makes use of the GPU, but this game makes use of the GPU, makes use of NVIDIA graphic card for the physics of the vehicles, and I can believe you that makes use for many other stuff. So what happens is that if you have an NVIDIA graphic card, you can be sure that the game is offloading many physics from your CPU to the graphic card, because they put the thing on there. But I think they didn't really think that straight. I think Bohem Interactive sometimes didn't think, because every time I enter a fucking vehicle, the frame rate goes to shit, okay? That's what happens. And so I think they didn't really think out that thing too much, and maybe they are only using NVIDIA in their office, because maybe they didn't felt that, but I felt it. And you can actually see on the video, when I enter the vehicle, the frame rate goes entirely to shit. That's not fair in my opinion, because you know, Bohemia, there are people there with AMD, you know. I know that 80% is from NVIDIA, but 20% of the market is from AMD, and it's about to grow up a little because of DirectX 12 efficiency, and because of Vulkan. I see many people that want to buy AMD, and it's a shame. It's a shame that you do things like this and don't care. But well, thankfully DirectX 12 patch is coming out, and maybe iron a little these problems. But I'm a little bit pissed with him, because well, this PhysX thing I was not expecting. It seems like bad news for me. So that's all. Hope you enjoyed this ambush, and hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Wait for it, Raymond. Clear. Weapons free. All clear.
Nice one. Watchtower, sitrep, 2 times technicals and multiple packs engaged and destroyed. Gas rep to be sent later.
Roger, Raider 1. Interrogative. Any signs of Warlock?
Stand by, Watchtower. Truck, salvo, sitrep.
Nothing here, Riker.
Nada. Watchtower, that's a negative on Warlock. No PID on enemy dead either. Send extraction.
Acknowledged. Wait.
What's the holdup?
NATO. Our transport is handled by the task force.
Oh, we'll just sit here while they pull the paperwork out of their ass.
Raider call signs. We've received new in from our NATO liaise. Possible anti-air threat. Passing it through.
Raider 1, this is North Star Actual. Local police spotted a handful of heavily armed paramilitaries in your area. They were last seen moving along a footpath near the bridge at grid 072095, heading deeper into the jungle.
Raider 1, your rotary exfil cannot move to extract while the threat is still in the area. Find any and all Syndicat packs in the area. Roger. Over.
Roger, Watchtower. Raider 1 out. Grim, fall back and link up with us. We're going back for the quads.
No problem.
Raider 2, you're up. Deal with Syndicate so we can get the hell out of here. That would be the path, Raider 2. Follow it down.
What did North Star mean? Paramilitaries. Aren't Syndicate just a bunch of untrained thugs?
They are, mostly. But there's a hardcore element too. Rebels, the ones who survived that failed coup a decade ago.
Like Warlock.
Exactly.
Raider 2, take it slow. Switch on. Watch your arcs. Out. Watchtower, Raider 2's definitely got something. Stand by.
Hello boys and girls, now to the performance section of the game without recording. So, this was the warm welcome, the mission that you saw on the video, and this is the frame rate that I got between the high, standard and the low settings. So, basically and mostly the same thing, right? Just like I did show you in the beginning of the video, this is what happens. We are severely bottlenecked. This is very sad. To reach this moment right now, but it's happening, okay? But well, this was the warm welcome. I think it should be fair to try out other levels, and the warm welcome was the second level of the DLC. The Keystone is the first one, and I decided to try with different settings than the warm welcome. This is with very high, and the high settings seems mostly the same, and on the standard it's boosted a little the performance. But either way, it doesn't stop us from going lower than 30s. That's again a little bit unfortunate to play an FPS and even worse thinking that is a simulator running lower than 30s. Okay, so this is the tests of consistency, okay, and this is for the both settings. And what you are actually seeing here is like 30% of the frames will be lower than 30s on the high settings. The standard is like 22, and for the low 10%. But if we go to the 25 FPS margin, we can see that the game, when it drops from 30s, it just drops mostly for between 25 and 30s, which is not entirely the bad news. The worst news. And if you can play between 25s and 30, 35, you can play this game. But either way, since I'm not truly a fan of these games, since I'm not truly a big fan of these games, and since they are developing DirectX 12 patch, I think I prefer to wait a little bit more. So this is the stats for the high settings. What I got is a VRAM usage of 1.8 GB. RAM usage, I fully recommend you to have at least 6 GB for this game. The CPU was mostly between 60 to 80%, and the GPU was between the 50 and 65%. This was for the warm welcome. Since in the Keystone, the first level, we are less bottlenecked, the GPU usage raises a little bit to like 60-80%, okay? So for now, that's all I want to talk about Arma 3 Apex. This is basically like I told you, if you can play between 25 to 30 FPS, you can buy the game and go play it. With lucky, the DirectX 12 implementation comes out sooner, and all the problems will get fixed up with a similar system like this. But if you can't play like that frame rate, and this is a war simulator, and I think most of the people are expecting good frame rates and such things, in that case, I think you should wait for DirectX 12 patch first and buy later. Or just don't buy the game. That's your choice. So that's all. Hope you did enjoy it, and hope to see you soon. Goodbye, guys.